Well, very much like last season, the fixture schedule hasn't been the greatest to us in these next couple of games. We currently have a game against Tranmere, who are second in the league. We have a game against Crewe, who are third in the league, and we have a game against Northampton, who are sixth in the league, in our next 4 league games. Now, why is that relevant, and why are them places relevant? Well, let me show you how things have been going off camera. So as we saw from that last game, we lost 3-1 to Stevenage, unfortunately. We then went on and lost 2-0 to Arsenal under-21s. Wasn't really that bothered. Completely rotated the starting lineup. We then went and drew 2-2 to Grimsby away from home. So not a terrible result, not a great result. And then we managed to thrash Fleetwood 4-0. Managed to score in the first minute and really set a precedent early on. Apart from that little trickle of bad form, we can get back to winning ways again today. But like I said, we've got Tranmere, Crewe and Northampton. So 3 of them teams all being in the top 6 within the next 4 league games. So what the plan will probably be is that we'll see the Tranmere game because that is going to be relevant. And I'll show you why in a moment. We've then got Crewe that we'll probably play, or Northampton, depending on who are higher up in the table once we play the Tranmere and the Forest Green game. But let me actually show you the league table. So we are currently sitting third. So it's second versus third in the game this afternoon. Barnsley still way out in front with 30 points. So we are 6 points behind them, but only 2 points off of Tranmere. So a win today, we beat Tranmere today, we could potentially go up to second. Of course, there are 3 automatic positions in Sky Bet League 2. So who knows? Maybe if we carry on playing the way that we're playing, we're 11 games in, we might be able to secure automatics or even maybe just sneak into playoffs. In terms of what we actually look like in terms of our performances right now, it's very nice reading, if I'm honest. We're sort of carrying on our usual way that we've done. We've only conceded 9 goals all season, so we're not the best in terms of the defensive record. There's a couple of teams here that conceded 8, but we are one of the best in terms of the actual league itself, and we've scored 27 goals. So we're joint top goal scorers with Barnsley, which of course is nice to see. So overall, that means we've got the best goal difference in the league. But important game today against second place Tranmere. Important that we show up. As we can see, Hugo is on 12 goals, 3 assists, and Francis is on 9 goals and 3 assists. So they've really been carrying us, them 2 players, with their goal contributions and their assists. They've been playing between one another as well and helping one another, which is nice to see. Realistically, the starting 11 is going to pick itself. We are going to play Briggs because I'm expecting a more defensive, challenging game than I am more of us to be able to attack. So Pennington's going to drop out. Briggs is going to come in again with his jumping reach and his heading and his tackling. That's going to help us. Other than that, the team pretty much picks itself. We've got Jay Wright in goal, Briggs, Johnson, Skara and Killer Ferreri in the defence, with then Dario and Gromek in them holding midfielder roles. We've got Figueroa, I'm still probably pronouncing that horribly wrong, Murray Holmes and Francis in the attacking winger and midfield roles, with Joe Hugill leading the line, and the bench pretty much picks itself. Isaac Holland, unfortunately, is still out injured, so there's not much more we can do for him. So I'm just going to say to the boys that it's important that we make the most of our home advantage. And I think that's true. The MG Group Stadium has still been a fortress for us, but we are playing second in the league. We've got to make sure that we win these types of games. The playoffs or automatics were never on the cards. That was never a target that we set ourselves, more importantly, at the start of this season. But 11 games in, we're challenging. We're there or thereabouts in terms of the league title push as well. Who knows what could happen? Again, I'll still take a top half finish, maybe even just outside the playoffs. I would sort of allow after the start that we've had. But realistically, there's nothing saying that we can't even push for a playoff spot. And yes, we may not go up with the playoffs, but it gives us a good precedent. And why this is so slow, I have no idea. What have they changed or what have they updated? Right, let me change that back up to the usual 1.75. Obviously, there's been an update on FM and it's changed the speed of the games because I would never be playing it at 1 times speed. Right, let's encourage the boys. Let's get a bit of encouragement into them straight away. Killer Ferreri gets in nicely with the tackle. You love to see it. Murray Holmes into Francis. Murray Holmes, Gromek. Gromek takes on his man, beats him. A surgeon run. You love to see that. Murray Holmes takes on his man as well. Into Hugo, long range effort. does well to get it on target, and it's just clipped outside of the post by the goalkeeper. But of course, we will not see the highlight from the corner afterwards. Again, something that we've said we need to work on. I think I'm going to bring in a set piece coach. I think I've got space for it now in my backroom staff. So we're going to bring in then, and then obviously actually start working on some specific set pieces and see what type of impact he can have, or she potentially, depending on who we obviously bring in. But 20 minutes played, pretty much a nothing game at the minute. Tranmere have had the majority of the possession, but of course it's what you do with the ball. Lovely ball from Crewe into Francis, takes it over to the other winger. Briggs plays it back, playing a lovely football. Gromek, oh, if that just nestled in the top corner, that would have been some footballing goal, but unfortunately it just wasn't to be. We've definitely had the best chances. You know, yeah, Tranmere are dominating us on possession, but they've not had a single shot on target. So it just goes to show that you can have the ball as much as you like, but if you're not challenging the goalkeeper, it doesn't really make a difference. I mean, our XG isn't much better, let's be honest, but we are getting our shots away on target and we are challenging the goalkeeper. So hopefully we can be a little bit more clinical. But a corner here to defend. They go for the near post. Oh, Francis is there to clear it off the line. It looks like Wright was beaten, so we love to see that. Getting back there and doing his defensive duties. And what can we do here? Let's just keep solid. And that ends the highlight, because we are not giving them a chance or even a bit of space to pass into. We are just staying nice and solid and compact like we know we can. But 40 minutes played, 70% possession to them. So they are very well and truly dominating the ball. Maybe consider bringing Murray Holmes back into a slightly deeper role in the second half. Maybe just so we can try and get a little bit more of a foothold on this game. And I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to say I think we've been unlucky. I don't think they've done anything specifically wrong. I'm going to say they weren't bad, but I still think they can improve and they can just go that next step forward. I'm going to drop Murray Holmes back. Oh, not Hugill. Murray Holmes into that position, because I do think that will give us a little bit more. Do I want to play him as a midfield playmaker or an advanced playmaker? That means he'll be a little bit further forward. And I don't want Hugill to become isolated. Yeah, I'm going to do that. And we will take Figueroa off because he has picked up a knock, unfortunately. The only annoying thing is, because Holland is injured and Archibald is injured, we don't have any other natural wingers to come on. So I think we're just going to have to bring on Branningham to hopefully play there and do a good role. We'll put him as an inside winger because he's a little bit more creative. I'm not happy that both of our fullbacks are on cards, so I'm going to bring on Ishmael. I'm not going to bring on Pennington yet, because we know what absolute mistakes he's got in him. I think that's all I'm going to do. Change that formation ever so slightly, a little bit of a tweak, get a bit more of a foothold in the game, hopefully, a little bit more possession on the sheet. Hopefully we can then convert them chances that we've been making and not necessarily snatch at them so much, right? Because of course, if we're not having the ball much, we get into a position where we think we might be able to score, we're probably snatching at it, we're rushing it. A little bit more possession might mean that we calm down in front of goal, and something that we can sort of then take advantage of and move forward from there. So let's encourage the boys. 61 minutes played. They've had a little bit of a rotation in terms of how they're going to play. So they've pretty much gone to our old formation. I say our old formation, the one we've just changed from when they're in possession, out of possession. Yeah, they're in the free in midfield. So we're sort of like for like in that at the moment. We're going to bring on, we're going to take Gromek off, and we're going to put that there, put him there, and then we're going to bring on McEachran as well. We're going to get him pressing, and as he's an advanced playmaker role. We don't want to risk any injuries. And don't get me wrong, 0-0 against Tranmere, even though we're at home, isn't a bad result. Ishmael here with the corner delivery from the cross goes, unfortunately, straight into the goalkeeper's hands. Long goal kick downfield. Briggs should deal with this all day long. He does, which is nice to see. Ball over the top into Hugo. Lovely ball. Oh, Francis probably wasn't necessarily expecting it. Or did it go? No, it did go out for a corner. So the goalkeeper actually managed to get a glove on that. But that's the sort of link-up play that Hugo and Francis have sort of been showing in the last few games. Especially where we're playing him as that inside forward. Because Crewe or Ishmael are so good, we don't necessarily have to worry about that extra space that Francis leaves by playing as an inside forward. And then it allows us to have that two-pronged attack and them to sort of play off one another. But I don't think we're going to make any other changes. I know obviously the players are getting a little bit knackered, but this is a good run out for them. I don't want to make many things and obviously risk losing. So a draw, I'll take that. A draw to Tranmere, who are second in the league. That's absolutely fine for us. How did the rest of the games go? So Crewe actually lost. How did Northampton get on? I'm guessing Northampton won because they've gone up in the league. Yes, they won 2-1. As it stands, we probably still will see the Crewe game. But of course, I do play Forest Green next, and I'm going to play them off camera, and then I'll bring you back to the game against either Crewe or Northampton, depending on who's highest in the league. So I'll bring you back at the game against Crewe. Unfortunately, we managed to somehow lose 1-0 to Forest Green. I mean, Forest Green are one of the worst. Well, they were 23rd when we played them. They might have even been 24th, rock bottom, and somehow we managed to lose 1-0. We just didn't turn up. No one really turned up apart from Darnell Johnson and maybe Chris Francis. I've done quite a lot of rotation to try and rest some of the players, so maybe that's on me for rotating too much. I had one shot on target, which is completely unlike us. But we go again for the game against Crewe today. What that means is that Crewe have taken our spot in third by a point. So we are now on 25 points. Crewe are on 26. So ideally, we won that game against Forest Green. We would have had a little bit more of a cushion than, let's say, we went on and beat Crewe today. We would have got a little bit of light between us and fourth. But hey, that is just how things go. And the only way we can rectify that is by winning our next game. Let's get our rotations out and put the new players obviously back in. I say the new players as in our usual starting 11 back into the fold, and then hopefully we can actually do something with this today. I'm actually going to drop Dario. He needs a rest. He's absolutely knackered. So Brannigan is going to come on. We're not obviously going to play Mellor there. Clark also, done absolutely nothing, whereas in the past was one of the main guys, but he may have to play by default because I have no other fit wingers. I'm not impressed with Mellor. Every time I've seen him, he's done nothing. I might even just play McEachran there. Actually, we'll do that. Let McEachran play in the centre and put Branningham out on the wing. Other than that, I think that pretty much picks itself. I will bring Zach onto the bench. He is a future prospect for us in that holding midfield role. I'm debating signing that Dario on a full deal. Actually, no, we're going to put Zach in. Yeah, we'll give Zachy a run out. He's knackered. He's got no match sharpness, but that's because he's been injured most of the season. Do we let Darnell Johnson start? I think so. Other than that, it's going to pretty much pick itself. So as you can see, pretty much an unchanged starting 11. Of course, we've got Zach coming in the centre of midfield. He's just going to get a little bit of match fitness. He's got a big future ahead of him if he can develop nicely. And the good thing is he's got good determination and good potential. Other than that, it pretty much picks itself. So I won't go back through that. I'm going to say that the pressure's all on them. Because arguably, we are the wild card this season, right? No one's expected us to do well. No one's expected us to be where we are, and we are in that position. So realistically, the pressure isn't on us to be winning these games. The pressure is all on them. So if we can go off and pull up an upset and maybe get 1-0 up, the fans start turning on their own players, who knows? We could obviously then pull off a win. A little bit like we have been all season. We've been upsetting teams. We've been playing our style of football. We've been playing the way that we know how to play. Oh my God, Zach almost just scored an absolute beautiful goal to announce himself into the first team. We've obviously had to pick a number for him because we signed him. He then picked up a massive injury in a friendly. So, not friendly. I think he was playing in one of the under-21s games, which isn't ideal from getting his foot in there and winning the ball back. But so far, highlights galore. Only 1 minute and 45 seconds in. Another highlight here for Crewe. What are they going to do with it and how can we defend it? They're playing it across nicely, to be fair to them. They're really trying to stretch us. Long range effort, but it gets blocked by Briggs. Again, that jumping reach is what's helping us there. But what can we do? Can we stay solid? Pillafreri does get beaten. There's a little bit of a ping pong and the ball just goes wide of the post, luckily for us. We're going to get some encouragement into the boys. Tell them to lift their heads up, look for the pass, make the most of the ball. Again, we're fully expecting to be outpossessed in a game like this, especially away from home as well. So it's what we can do with that as and when we've got it. Just want to make sure, yes, I just couldn't remember because I rotated the wingers in that last game if I'd set the right roles, but I had. So Francis tracking back there and does well. Killer Ferrari, long ball to Hugill, puts it back into Francis, but unfortunately we can't get the ball back. Again, we're going to sit back and defend now. Oh, that's not a good run to concede, but Jay Wright with the save. Again, question marks were there about Jay Wright. But he's proved us that we were right to stick with him. Get it? We were right to stick with Wright. Killer Ferrari won the defensive header, but then put it back straight back to them. But he's tracking back, has won the ball, which is nice to see. Briggs. Lovely surging run from him. Something that we've seen him do quite a lot. He loves to have them runs down that right side. Ball delivered in. Francis is there. Gets the head in. Nods it past the goalkeeper into the far corner. And that's the type of finish that he can deliver, especially from a Briggs cross. Every time we've seen this, he does an absolute beautiful cross, puts it on an absolute plate and a peach. Look, both Hugill and Francis is there. Francis calls for it, says, that's mine. I'm going straight in for it, and I'm knocking that in the back of the net. And we go 1-0 up, 19 minutes played. It's all about us staying solid now, like we have been in the past. A solid defensive unit is what we thrive on, and then we let our attackers do what they need to do. Zach with the delivery from the corner. Long ball does trick the goalkeeper. We pick up the loose ball, but can we capitalise now? Zach in acres of space. Lovely deep ball into Hugill, and he scores again. Francis and Hugill, it's them two, week in, week out, apart from Forest Green, getting on the score sheet. Lovely cross, or a lovely corner. I mean, complete confusion from their centre-back and goalkeeper. Hugill being out here on a corner, I'm not sure if I'm necessarily happy with that, but it does do well because if you look, he times his run to absolute perfection from the ball from Zach. He's there, back post, he calls it, bang, and it goes to the back of the net. We can't complain, boys and girls. 2-0 up, 27 minutes played. And this is what frustrates me, right? We go out and lose 1-0 to Forest Green for rock bottom of the league. Again, it's just the mentality, I guess, of turning up against teams like this. We go, right, these are right behind us in the league. We need to put a best performance in. We then play against teams like Forest Green and we go, oh, we'll roll them over. It's not a problem. But they're the type of games that will slip us up. Also could have been on me for the amount of rotation that I did. But hey, we live and learn, right? We live and learn. The reason why we rotated is because we really think about this game coming up against Crewe and, of course, against Northampton. I'm just going to put, you're doing brilliantly, keep it up. I'm worried about this, because if one of them get an injury, that is then worrisome. I think we're going to take Francis off, and I think we'll play Clark. Not the best substitute to be making, if I'm honest, but I don't want to risk. At least if Francis comes off now, Hugill can have a rest against Northampton, is what I'm thinking at half-time. But 2-0 up, 45 minutes played. We just need to hold on now. We need to defend this free kick. They go deep like we did, but they're just not as good as we are on that delivery. Hugill then wins that ball. Briggs with his jumping reach again. Let's just defend this, get rid of it. Oh, curling effort. To be fair to Wright, that's not on him. Bounces off the post. I mean, the defence should have really been reacting a little bit more quicker. This was an absolute peach of a curler, though. That deserved to go in, really. Killer Ferrari, I suppose, there. Not tracking his man. Number 17 as well. Clark not getting back quick enough to defend that. But we go back to 2-1. Now, let's carry on switched on here, right? If we start to now really capitulate, I'm not going to be happy about that, especially as we made one change. Clark there, not getting into the rhythm of the game yet. Giving the ball away. Surely he's not going to make two errors that lead to them scoring twice. He does. I mean, the first one made Mrs. E his fault, and luckily for us, that is offside. 51 minutes played. Joe Hughes struggling. I mean, there's not much we can do about that. I think I might take him off around the 75-minute mark. Clark's going to put the ball in. Manages to disrupt the keeper, and Declan Scarra gets on the score sheet. A knockdown from Johnson. I mean, Clark won't get the assist, but it was a lovely teasing corner that come in, to be fair, from him. Their goalkeeper's very flappy from a corner, isn't he? Maybe, actually, what we will do is let's play for set pieces. Because that's twice that's happened. He's come flapping for the ball. But Johnson knocks that down and Skara gets on the score sheet. Almost something of a collector's item, as they say, when a defender scores a goal like that. But 3-1. Let's now just stay solid and compact. Hopefully, we can sneak another goal in and I can get Hugo off and he can rest for the last bits of the game. But if not, at 70 minutes, we will be looking to take him off. With the corner here to defend. James Wright, we're looking at you here. Don't flap like their goalkeeper. He doesn't even come for it. That's what we want to see. We don't want him off his line if he doesn't need to. Long-range effort from them. That's what we're restricting them to. They got lucky when they scored from that long-range effort. But luckily, they didn't score that time round. We're going to make that change now. McEachran's going to have to come and play up front, which isn't ideal for anyone. But that's what we're going to... Actually, we're not going to do that. We're going to do this. And we're going to drop McEachran. And we're just going to play him as a shadow striker. And we're also going to get him to track back. We're going to go for a little bit more defensively solid. We're going to go cautious as well. And we are going to waste time. We're going to tweak it. We don't have a natural striker to come back on. Maybe we do need to look at getting one more striker. But then again, Holland can play as a striker as well when he's out injured. McEachran can play as a striker, but we've just never played him there, and I just don't know if that's a role that he can play. So this way, I know he can play in that advanced playmaker role, shadow striker. No point of having him as an advanced playmaker when he has got no one up top to feed, so he's playing as a shadow striker this afternoon. Oh, Wright makes a good save. I didn't even know what happened with the ball then. It was just ping-ponging around. Corner to them, but we won't see it, which is good. Might bring on Dario just to bring it a little bit more solid. How's Zach getting on for fitness? Because he hasn't played a single game yet. He's fine. So we're going to put Gromit there. We'll bring Dario on. I know he's not fit, but Hayden, you need to be doing better than that. Hayden Murray-Holmes there, blasting it over the pitch, but at least Dario brings us a little bit more defensive solidity. Defensive midfielder, and Zach is playing obviously as the deep line playmaker. I'm going to change him just to a centre mid. Again, there's no point of having an advanced playmaker there. We're just headering the ball back and forth with the opposition here, are we, guys? Right, Gromit picks up the loose ball. Surges forward. Lovely run. Lovely run. Penalty, surely, ref. And it is. Gromit wins the penalty. Gromit will take the penalty. Is he going to score? Make it 4-1? He does. Let's go. A very convincing win in the end over Crewe, which makes me question why we can't do that against Forest Green. We would have been a lovely points cushion in third, which would have given us some light in them automatic promotion spots. But here we go, full time, 4-1 win, a fantastic result. Look at the greens, the ratings from the players, absolutely beautiful. We didn't pick up any injuries either, which is fantastic to see. I'm going to say that was just about as good as a result as you're likely to see. Well done. What does that mean to the table? We go back up to third, 2 points clear of Crewe. We are only 3 points behind Tranmere as well. So it's still remaining tight. The good news is we are 4 points clear of Northampton, which of course we do play them in our next game. Now what I won't do is I won't show us that. Reason why is because I want to bring us the English FA Cup first round against Birmingham. Sadly, we did draw a Sky Bet League One team. I was hoping, we might have been able to draw a slightly weaker side to get through a little bit quicker, but we've got Birmingham in the first round of the Cup. So that will be the first game that we see next. And that then tips us up nicely to Plains Barnsley. I didn't even see that Barnsley game there, which comes up so quick after. So realistically, our fixtures have been pretty tough. Tranmere, top 6. Crewe, top 6. Northampton, top 6. And Barnsley, top 6. Once we've got all of them out of the way, then arguably we've got the easier teams, let's say, left. But if anything goes by that Forest Green performance, we'll probably beat Northampton and Barnsley and then probably lose to the other teams below us. But thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't done so already. It helps me a lot more than you think in terms of pushing the video out. Leave a comment down below as well. Let's get a bit of interaction action going? How do you think the season's going so far? How do you think it's going to unfold? And who is your MVP of the season at the moment? And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Oh, PS, subscribe if you're new around here, because, you know, by all likelihood, we could potentially be going up again.